Okay, hello everyone, and hi YouTube. So today I'm gonna be doing a rundown on Ceobe Fungimist, which is the upcoming event that is coming to global. So a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions about what this roguelike mode is. So today I will be explaining in detail what you need to know about Fungimist, and at the end I will also add in opinions on about Eunectes versus Surtr and whether you should pull for Eunectes or just skip. So for Ceobe Fungimist, of course you have the currency, which is honey cakes. So honey cakes is the currency to collect items including Utage skin, which is right at the end, I believe. Yeah, it's Utage's summer skin. And you also get mushrooms, which are used to upgrade stuff such as HP seals when you start each round of the roguelike mode. So one question that I got was, is there a limit to the number of tries for this mode per day? And the answer is no, because as the name implies, roguelike is a mode where you can limitlessly enter and retry if you fail, or if you want to start a new run to farm honey cakes and mushrooms. Of course, all the honey cakes can give you a lot of stuff. The maximum is 4,000. So it goes from LMD to your basic materials, shop voucher, skill summary, blah blah blah. And then you have the skin at 1,440, and then you get more higher tier rewards, higher tier materials, and then finally at 4,000 you get D32 steel. So when you start the roguelike mode, I don't really have the playthrough to show it, but you're given about 6 to 8 operator currency, and it's based on RNG. And you're also given class cards like Vanguard, Caster, Guard, or maybe even Specialist to pick from. So usually I think you get 2 to 3 cards, and then from there you need to start choosing your team, like forming it from there. It's all RNG based. So my advice is to opt for 4-star and below team as far as possible, because 6-star costs 6 operator currency and 5 stars costs 4 operator currency, whereas 4-star costs 2 and the free ones are obviously free. So basically for Ceobe's Fungimist, completing stages will give you the options to pick your rewards. So you always have to check your number of lives, operator currency, and buffs. And sometimes there will be this option of like gambling for items, which may be worth it, but remember you're also sacrificing your resources that you can use to buy other stuff from the shop that is guaranteeing you something that you might actually need. So some items could be like a watch, a kettle, and stuff like that, and it can change your game drastically if you collect and use them appropriately. But I'm not gonna run them down in detail because you are probably spoil your fun. So they do have different abilities, and it's important to read and make decisions for roguelike mode. And the only way to get characters to E2 is that if you get duplicates of them. So let's say you have maybe a Saria. The first copy of Saria will only give you up to a E180, and if you get a second copy of her and you own Saria, it will follow your levels plus the masteries on that character. For the free characters, for example Haze, if they give you Haze and then you collect 2 of her, you will get her not only at E2 max level but also at M6. You have to keep your options open to lower rarity operators as well, because you need to manage between having enough heals, block count, and DPS that covers land and air. So having guards and tanks are very much ideal for roguelike. Alright, so in roguelike, of course, there are different mobs. There are any more bosses that don't count towards the mob leak numbers. So leaking these are totally okay, but if you kill them, there are secret bonuses. There's this duck boss that runs super fast, so if you have any stun or slow, using it against him or taking him out with high early DPS is a good idea. So I don't know if you guys have seen Dreamy's video, but this basically sums up the entire list of characters that more or less are your best picks for roguelike. Basically, characters like Suzuran will be very good to deal with the duck boss because he runs very fast and her S3 can slow him down a lot. Of course, Angelina is also an option, but I would still prefer Suzuran. Yeah, I do agree with this tier list, by the way, to some extent, especially Taunts. Okay, so of course, other than Suzuran, you can also use Phantom or Project Red for the stuns. But of course, if you have Project Red build, please use Project Red over Phantom because Red is a 5-star and 5 stars cost 4 recruitment costs, whereas a 6-star costs 6 recruitment costs, so it's better to get Red over Phantom for that very reason. So do prioritize using Red over Phantom. Secondly, the bear boss. He literally one-shots everyone out of the sky and then does a hooray like he's proud of his work. That's right, the sadist bear is just here to kill everyone on your team before it makes its way into your base. I personally have never killed this bear before and it's quite hard to. So frankly, I would just leak him because he deals way too much damage and it's just tanky as hell. He just one-shots everyone. Alright, next we go on to Big Bob. Big Bob is a boss that appears in a stage with many spiders. You are most likely to enter this stage at one point because if I'm not wrong, this is the most common stage that I face out of all my runs. So for this stage, I would suggest you to get a lab land because the exploding spiders are a pain in the ass. There's like 10 in a row. So having lab land would help a lot in this stage. Okay, another boss is Walmart Frost Nova, and personally I have never selected for or gotten this map, but according to Dreamy's video, Scene is very good for this this stage. So if you have Scene built, you'll never go wrong, as what Dreamy has mentioned. Alright, and then the next one is Kevin. I don't really know where to find Kevin as a mob, but he kind of just flies around in a ring for like 3 to 4 times before leaking to your base, and he will fly over ground operators, so anyone that has a block count just gets flown over. But if you have taunts, it's very easy to wipe him out of the sky. So like this tier list has shown, basically just take taunts. Personally, every run that I did in roguelike, I always tried to get taunts if I get the guard card, because he's probably the best guard that you can bring for roguelike. And another mob is Phony Force. Of course, this is the real force, but Phony Force is the final and last stage of the entire roguelike most of the time. And he works really the same as Force. He has that purple arrow that crits. So make sure your last put unit is possibly Saria so that she can out-heal his purple arrow. And that's probably all you need to know for the major mobs. So next we have books. Now books give buffs based on class. So in Arknights, of course you have a lot of classes. You have your vanguards, your snipers, your healers, caster, specialist, support, defense, and of course your guards, right? So basically, you try not to get books for characters that you don't own at mid-game, but use the currency to buy stuff like recruitment options, which gives you the chance to kind of like build more units with block count, because you need to add more block count to the team, because when you start you probably can only have 2 and a max maybe 3 operators. So it's ideal to get more melee units than aerial in this mode. You have to remember you need to have healing, which is why healers are not the most ideal in this mode, especially because sometimes there are situations where you have 4 lanes to block but you only have 5 to 6 operators, and that means not only do you have to have one person blocking each lane, you also need to have enough heals across all 4 lanes and make sure that it does and nobody leaks. And of course you also need to have sufficient DPS, so try to get tanks that can heal, in my advice. And it's definitely better to use healing tanks like Null, Saria. I think Null and Saria are pretty good options. Of course, there are also certain books that can make taunts wipe out everything at ridiculously high speeds, because there is this book for all guards where their attack speed and their attack increases by a lot. I remember my taunts were 3k damage, so that's quite insane. Like on his 3rd skill, there was 3k damage with the buff, so please, if you can, please take taunts. And another question I got was like, why is Blaze, Broca and Spectre not good for this mode? To phrase it better, they are not as good as the starting team in roguelike. Like, they can be okay as late game additions because you primarily need to balance aerial coverage, you need to balance the melee block count, and it's a role that taunts practically fills up, and hence is why he's the most broken operator on this mode. And finally, I have to say, you have to not be tempted to dive immediately to use your 6 stars, because getting 1 to E2 is a lot more costly than taking the free options. And of course, the free options are not only limited to 4 stars, sometimes there are 5 stars. They also give you some other units, the Hunter, the Caster and the Vanguard person. So when you start building your team, try to make the best out of your 8 initial currency. So you can choose to take 2 5 stars and 1 free unit, or you can take 1 6 star, 1 4 star and 1 free unit. Of course, roguelike is all about experimentation, so do remember to have Pith, Sharp and Touch. Those 3 are the ones that are fairly decent, so if you get them, and if they are free options, please get them over your 6 stars. You should just get them, because it's too costly to build up a whole team of 6 stars. So actually in roguelike, getting all the lower rarity, those like 4 stars which are already on E2, if you have 4 stars on E2, you are definitely far more advantage than to keep using a lot of 6 stars. Like strong early picks, like what Dreamy is mentioned in a video, is that you can use basically lower rarity operators rather than higher rarity ranks, because currency balance is a very important aspect of roguelike. And that being said, I hope everyone has fun and you will enjoy the Ceobe Fungimist event. Now I'm gonna move on to talk about Eunectes and Surtr, because a lot of people have been talking about it and I need to address this because it's been bothering me for a while. Alright, so let's open Reddit. Alright, so this is what Gabe posted on Reddit, which is my video on Eunectes, my guide on Eunectes. Okay, so let's just read the thread, shall we? I haven't read it yet. I'm really conflicted on Eunectes. Her kit is really fun, she's awesome lore-wise, but her restriction on charging is ridiculously punishing. Okay guys, the restriction on charging SP, I have mentioned it in my video here on like 253, that her SP only charges when she blocks and not when she's attacking an enemy. Do you guys know what this means? This means that even if you throw her at the start of the game, even if 30 seconds have passed, as long as no one steps here, she will not charge her skill to full. why? Why would you make an operator that charges like that? Like, just why? Alright? This is ridiculously punishing, alright? And second of all, I don't know why this guy said this, because the whole point of defenders in Arknights is to be a damn meat shield. Why am I putting a meat shield behind another meat shield? You're just defeating the main purpose of a tank. Why do you need another tank just for that one tank? And not to mention, in my video, I have mentioned that Eunectes has ridiculously high cost. She is ridiculously high cost. Do you know what that means? For a 1 block tank, you need to raise 32 cost. That's like 1.5 Sarias. Why would I? Just why? It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Why would you do that? Alright. She's the lowest block count, highest cost, and the longest attack interval. Not to mention she will charge ridiculously slow. Which is bringing me to my next point. And let's just see what the people of Reddit have to say about my video. Alright? There is absolutely no point in doing this when I can just use a Saria. Why on earth would I need to put another defender behind for another defender? Like, I can just make do with one. I don't need both. Like, if she needs additional support, it already means that she by herself is completely, utterly terrible. Literally, like, I don't know what other way to phrase it, okay? So this guy probably has a point, and he said, but is that enough to compensate her downtime between skills or in gaps between enemy waves? The thing is, the downtime is 5 seconds, and frankly speaking, it's not too bad, because as some guy on my video commented today, where on earth is it? Spectre Sun is 10 seconds, the other ground operator who gets stunned 5 seconds after skill is Broca S2. Fair enough. But you guys do realize that this girl is a single block count, right? Even if she comes back up, the next enemy is gonna leak past her. Because she's a block 1, she's not a block 2. Y'all get it, like... It's so ridiculous. Eunectes base damage. Where is that damage? Ridiculously high. Right? She has the highest attack in the game, base damage wise. And what does that mean? She will literally slaughter everyone that comes to her. How is she going to block anyone? No one is going to stay in front of her. Because if she's focusing on one target, the next one that comes by is just gonna walk through. So where's the block in that if she's just gonna slap them once and they're dead? Because I do remember somewhere someone said that at S3M3 she will charge in 16.67 seconds, which is absolutely nonsense because... there it is. How do you helio drop Eunectes? So S3M3 takes 16.67 seconds to charge. Mind you, this will not happen unless she is blocking somebody that is ridiculously tanky. For example, Patriot, who might kill her in the process. For example, a Butcher. For example, Big Bob. But every enemy after Big Bob is just gonna pass by, like... Why? What's the point? She needs a tanky enemy to charge. Like, do you not see that this is niche already? It's niche. This already makes her niche. It's not 16.67 seconds. It's forever until somebody steps in front of her and she's actively blocking them. Okay, I need to make this clear, alright? Look, she's with Mephisto. She's not charging until this guy appeared. Alright, I'm gonna just show that one more time, alright? She's not charging. She's not charging. Look at this guy. This guy appears. She's finally charging. This is not 16.67 seconds, guys. It is a gap until the next person arrives. Alright? So if you don't have some tanky ass boss in front of you, there's no way this is gonna charge. It doesn't matter how much damage this does. It's just gonna take very long to charge, and she's only a single block count defender, so why? Alright? Just no. You don't helio drop Eunectes. Alright, no. And what the heck is with the point is using her more helio drop, so I just said it. You can't. What do you mean think of Skadi but more extreme? She's twice the cost. She's probably twice the cost of Skadi. Why would you? I don't see why anyone would have to generate so much cost just to put out a defender that takes forever to charge. Like, there's so much time wasted just to get her skill up. From putting the character down to getting the skill up, you could probably put down like your whole team already. So what's the damn point? HG need to nerf her SP charging. If she regen normally, Eunectes will be OP AF. The thing is, they don't need to nerf the charging. What they need to do is give her a 3 block count, because if she has a 3 block count, she will always be blocking forever, and that will solve the whole damn problem. Which is why I said Eunectes needs a damn buff. You see the point now? Like, people think that the SP charging is, oh, it's just 16.67 seconds, guys. No, you need somebody to be standing there and alive and not chopped to death in one shot, because she has to wait for someone else to come again before she can charge again. It just doesn't make sense. Eunectes is only good against brawlers and they die in 0.2 seconds. Exactly! Precisely, you need someone that stays there for so long to charge her damn skill up. And frankly speaking, this is physical damage. Alright, so when I made the comparison of Eunectes against Surtr, Surtr on potential 1 is 3000 arts damage. Arts damage doesn't need to minus defense, it ignores defense. Whereas here with our Eunectes, attack plus 230%, right? This will go to about 3.2k. But what is it? It is physical damage. Physical damage, you still have to minus away the enemy's defense. Surtr, on the other hand, what does she do? It's arts damage. So what does she do? She ignores the damn defense. She ignores it. And the thing is, it's a 5 SP cost that doesn't even require block. You just put her down in less than 5 seconds, she's ready to go. That's the definition of helio drop, guys. That is helio drop. Not this. This needs time to charge and you need enemies to charge it. This doesn't. Which is why she's much more viable than getting this. And if you were to compare their cost wise, alright, it's 21. And she does more damage than what? Someone who takes cost 33. Do you know how much cost 33 is? Plus the amount of time that it takes for a skill to come up, it's ridiculous. This is what you call helio drop. You get the cost, you put her down, immediately her skill activates. This one, you put her down, you still need to wait for her to block someone before she actually starts charging. And she only blocks 1. So it just doesn't make any sense. Alright, people need to start realizing that fact. This guy makes sense. Alright, this is probably one of the only guys that makes sense in this post. Below 50% HP, she gets damage reduction. So unless it's Patriot first phase, she should be able to survive. Well, yes. Frankly speaking, the only operator that can survive Patriot's second phase, again, it's Surtr. So it goes to show you which one is more worth your randoms. Frankly, honestly speaking. where is the part where I talked about there, here it is. Do you see here why I put this here? Hoshiguma's defense buff and or Nian's HP buff. This is to ensure that she is kept in the more than 50% HP range for long periods of time for attacks to consistently deal plus 115% damage, which favors her talent. Alright? Remember, a talent is when her HP is higher than 50%, her attacks deal 115% damage. When HP is lower than 50%, she gets physical and magic damage reduced by 20%. So honestly, you just have to keep her alive. I mean, she has the highest HP out of all the defenders, so that's not too much of a problem. The only issue is this is my biggest issue: the cost, the block, and the amount of time it takes for Surtr to get her skill up is definitely faster. And look at the attack time, right? This is slow. This is possibly one of the slowest attack speeds in the game. This is decent. And the good thing is, Stilopsis charges her skill, so it might take even less than 5 seconds to get her to start activating S3 when you put her down. So I don't see why people think that Eunectes is better than Surtr when Surtr does the same. She probably survives even longer if you throw 7 or 8 healers on her. She can just solo the whole stage for the rest of the game already. Whereas for Eunectes, once her skill runs out, that's it. The difference between Surtr and Eunectes is that Eunectes has a time limited skill duration, whereas for Surtr the factor is whether she's alive or not. As long as she doesn't hit the 1 HP mark where she will gain immortality for a fixed duration, as long as she's above that mark, she can just continue whacking people. So as long as you have a healer on her that's doing insane damage, and you have either Ceylon or even Pure Stream that just like gives her that HP boost when in emergency situation, she will just keep fighting and on and on and on until she eventually commits suicide. So I don't see why people think Eunectes is better than Surtr. Surtr is clearly the strongest in the game. As Cesith's interviewed content creators have all agreed unanimously, including myself, Surtr is the best unit in the game. Like, there is no reason why Surtr is in any way less broken. Yeah, pretty much that is pretty much the reason why I keep telling people to save the currency for Surtr and not to go ham on Eunectes. So basically, like what I said, she can just do a stage. Okay, this is all the healers basically. I'm just trying to out-heal this. Where is my Surtr? Alright, there. Okay, wait. Okay, the definition of Helio drop is what you're gonna see. See? Instantly up. Just keep throwing heals. And she's still there. As long as she's being healed, this thing doesn't finish. As long as it doesn't hit the 1 HP, she's still alive. And now, alright, here. Alright. I hate to say this, but after analyzing 3 of the most recent banners, Taunt, Eunectes, and Surtr, frankly, Taunt and Surtr are the banners that are frankly most worth pulling for, especially for budget players who have limited resources to pull for operators. This is what I said in my Surtr guide, okay? I know I messed up in my Eunectes video cause, like I said, it's not that I'm trying to say every new op that releases is good, but Hyperglyph has been churning out broken units in attempts to shift the meta. Alright, that is truly what I said. Most of the newer units trivialize the OG 6 stars. And probably cause it has to do with the fact that harder bosses in future demand more broken operators. Surtr can be carried into every map and plays a pivotal role in contingency contract Operation Cinder. All of y'all know she carried Cinder, right? Do you see anybody using Eunectes in Cinder? No. Because the cost is so damn high. And it takes forever for skill to charge. It's not It's not 16.67 seconds. This is the most tilting thing I've seen all day, okay? If she's not blocking anyone, it can be 2 minutes. It can be 3 minutes. It can be forever until the next guy just comes and like stays there. If the guy just gets slaughtered in one hit, you're not charging. You're just not charging. Like, Zarya is like probably the top 5 in the game, and she will probably remain in the top 5. Like, I truly think that will happen. But like, dude, look at this Reddit. I don't understand. I just don't. People need to realize that the reason why I said that Eunectes needs a buff is because her cost is ridiculously high for a single block count. Her attack is absolutely slow. And this is bad because the moment that one thing gets slaughtered, she has nothing that she's blocking. She cannot charge her SP. And she's just idling there waiting for the next person to come. This is ridiculous compared to Surtr. Like, why would anyone prefer getting this over this? This is arts damage, and even for single potential, it's 3000 arts damage. I re-emphasize, arts, not physical, it's art. Do you need multiple potentials of her to do risk 20 for like certain CCs? No. You can do it with like a single potential. That's the difference. Like, if you were to see other 6 stars, if you want them to do like ridiculous crazy amount of damage, sure, maybe you need to max pot them. Surtr, no, she doesn't need to be max potted. Maybe if you want to pull for her, sure, you can go to maybe pot 3 for the ignoring more magic resistance, or you can go for pot 5, but generically speaking, you can literally just make do with a pot 1 for the whole rest of your Arknights career. She trivializes the whole game, whereas this does not. People need to realize that her biggest weakness is this entire part, because the amount of time taken to put her down, number 1, the amount of time taken to charge the skill, number 2, is enough time to bring out your whole damn team with their skills up, because they can charge with Dilopsis. And this is the worst part. See? For mobile units like Force that can pass through units, they do not count as being blocked. He could be standing there for a minute, but she'll never charge her skill. She has to wait for someone else to come. Does any other unit in the game need that? No. Do you see why she needs a buff now? That's my whole issue, because the problem is no one sees my point in Cesith's video when I said Eunectes needs a buff. Change her SP charging way. Either she blocks 3 by default, so that even if there are other units that are behind her, they can contribute to the SP charging apart from the one that she's slaughtering to death, because her damage is so ridiculously high. She needs it. She needs the damn buff. Legit. Just give it to her. Why did you have to release? The whole problem that Hyperglyph created is that they released Surtr right after they released this. So everyone thought that, oh, this is the best unit in the game, man. Like, she can auto-heal herself to full health, sure. This girl doesn't die! It's like 5 seconds! And you can just destroy everyone already. And once you're done, just get rid of her and then bring her back again. Why would you use this over this? Like, the moment Surtr got released, she just power creeped the crap out of Eunectes. Which is why there was absolutely no point and no place for Eunectes to even shine. She wasn't given a chance to even shine in any CC. Do you see anyone using Yoon in CC? No, absolutely not. People are just horny for thick booty. Exactly. I mean, yes, if she's your waifu, go ahead, but utility wise, this girl just does everything that Eunectes does, so why on earth do you need this? There's no point. That's why I said Eunectes needs a buff. Someone needs to realize that she is that one character where when she was released, even though she is a 6-star, she's a 6-star that it just got like power creep by another 6-star. So you really don't need a Eunectes on your team. Like Saria is good enough. Hoshiguma is good enough. Really, like the OG tanks in this game, they serve their job as mid shields. They have a cost of low 20-ish, so they're not extremely difficult to bring into the team. They confer healing buffs to the rest of the team. They confer attack buffs to the rest of the team. So that's great. What does she do? She buffs herself. Does she buff anyone else? No. Do you realize why I have a section here that says she is great with Hoshiguma's defense buff and Nian's HP buff? It's because she doesn't buff anyone. She only buffs herself. Whereas, what does Surtr do? Does she need a buff? No. If she gets buffed by Warfarin, she does even more damage. She becomes crazy god. She doesn't need to be buffed. Even without buff, she's already amazing. She's a delete button on her own, exactly. What is this? To function even better than you are, you need defense buff and HP buff. But Surtr can do it without the need. Really trigger someone else by comparing you to Mudrock. Sure. Okay, let's get Mudrock out, alright? Okay, chat says that you should, in fact, be saving for Mudrock rather than saving for Eunectes, alright? Let's show you why. Okay, these two, of course, are pretty similar in terms of cost. Here we go. So you see, Mudrock costs 36, right? But what is good about Mudrock? She works like a normal mid shield, alright? She fulfills the mid shield job of blocking 3, alright? Mudrock blocks 3. What else is OP about Mudrock? This girl can debuff people. She not only debuffs people, she also is able to reduce attack interval, raise her attack, raise her defense, and attack multiple enemies equal to block count. What does this lady do? What does she do? Huh? She gets stunned. Mudrock also gets stunned, doesn't she? She gets stunned for a while, but it's all good. Enemies can sleep for a while, but no, she can still attack every single one of them. This one only attacks one at a time. Why? Why would you? Just why would you? There is no point. She can bonk you, thank you chat, thank you. Do you know how many enemies this is? 3. 3 at once. This is 1. Even though she blocks 3, she only can attack 1 of them at a time. That's the difference. And the second skill, she can recover HP. Oh, doesn't that sound just like her? She recovers 6% of her max HP per second. Sure, okay, let's just put this on at the last one. It's also 6% max HP. Alright. And she deals damage to all. All. It doesn't matter if there's 10. It's all. All of them. 30% chance to stun also. Why would anyone build this over this? There is no point. You need Mudrock, you need Surtr on your team. These are the 2 units that you should be saving for. You see the whole point there? You see the whole point now? There is absolutely no point. Like, if you want to raise someone with this cost, make sure at least they do something that is worthy of that cost. So not only must they be a mid shield, they also need to have some, like, dude, this is SP cost 4. I don't need to wait for someone to come in front of me. SP cost 4, done. She just bonks. SP cost 4, bonk. It doesn't matter that their attack interval is exactly the same, because this is auto. She just goes 1 2 3 bonk, 1 2 3 bonk, 1 2 3 bonk. That's it. It's auto. It doesn't need anyone to block. It's by attack. This is what Eunectes should be getting if you want to classify her as a usable 6-star over like other defender operators, because all the other defender operators are just much more viable options. They're much more worth your randoms. There is just no point summoning for this unit. Okay, so with that, I hope it just addresses like the whole like issue between Mudrock, between Surtr, between Eunectes. So yeah, this is basically the whole thing that I needed to explain, because it's been bugging me for like a super long time. And yeah, so thank you for joining my TED Talk, and thanks YouTube. Please remember to like, subscribe, and yeah, check out my Eunectes guide if you haven't, as well as my Surtr operator guide. Yeah, those are two very important videos you would have to check out if you want to consider to summon Eunectes or Surtr, which obviously I'm telling you now, just summon Surtr, goddammit. Alright, thank you.